It is time for Comments with Coach Cook. I'm Jason Jorgensen, our weekly visit with Nebraska Volleyball coach John Cook. Huskers went 2-0 last weekend to stay undefeated on the season with a couple of wins in Michigan, and Cook says he'll certainly take those victories.
Anytime you can go on a road trip and win back-to-back matches, it's a great weekend. And, you know, we played some great volleyball. We had some ugly volleyball, and we were high air a little bit, but you know, we found a way to win, and that's what's most important. And I thought our players, we won a couple really close games. We were down, so we kind of built a little bit more resiliency and knowing we can come back. And if we're not playing well, we can still find a way to win. So we'll take it, and, you know, on to this week.
Big weekend for Lindsay Krause. That had to be great to see, especially after what she had to deal with earlier this fall with the injury in the accident.
Yeah, and she's finally got back into a rhythm, and, you know, really took advantage of her opportunities. So, you know, like anytime we can get that position right there, having big nights offensively, it just makes us a much more difficult team to defend.
We've talked a little bit about this before, but you have a roster chock full of talent, of players that are good enough to play and good enough to play at other places. How do you as a coach go about trying to keep everybody, I guess, happy and engaged and knowing that their time could come?
Yeah, it's just, you know, we have two ways we do it. First of all, we build relationships, and we just, so, you know, work really hard on building relationships with everybody in our team. It make everybody feel important, and then we value them as we say, hey, if you're not in the starting group, then your job is to be a game changer when you get the opportunity. And you know, everybody's played this year, except for Caroline, who we're attempting to try to hold her out for a redshirt year. But you know, so we just create those roles and try to get them to embrace them, and I think they've done a great job with that.
Is it different coaching kids today than maybe it was when you got into it? Yeah, I was gonna say.
I wrote a book about it. Yeah. So, and I'm about ready to write another book.
Yeah, what's this book going to be called?
About coaching this generation. It's always changing. You've got to adapt. You've got to change. Times are changing all the time. And so I just try to adapt and adjust and be the best coach I can for the group I have and give them what they need.
Now, how does the head coach of the Huskers have time to write a book?
Well, my last book I wrote, I actually wrote it in my head riding my bike. On 2-hour bike rides, it would come into my head, and then I would go back and write, you know, make all the notes, and then we went from there. So I don't know.
This book going to have anything to do with riding horses?
Oh, if I do write another book, it would definitely have to do with horses. That would be a main focus of it. Think like a horse.
Yeah, well,
you know, coach like you're riding a horse. That might be the title.
Well, I have a feeling if you do that, you're going to sell some copies.
Or cowboy up, you know, cowboy up, and the horse is the best teacher. How's that? Now you got me going.
How about cowboy up with Coach Cook? That might work.
That would be great.
All right, hey, back to volleyball. It's got to have 2 weekends on the road. It's got to feel good to be back at home. Your thoughts this weekend you turn right back around and play Michigan State and then Penn State.
Yeah, it's playing a team within a week is, you know, that's a challenge, and we got to kind of be prepared to adjust if they do something different. Penn State's really good, so that's going to be a great match as always. Penn State, Nebraska Volleyball has produced some epic matches, and but I know our players are really excited to be home. It's been 20 days since we had played in Devaney, so hopefully our fans are starved and fired up.
Do you like that, turning around and having to play somebody like that, or would you prefer it had been spread out a little bit more?
Yeah, I really don't think about it. I mean, it always happens now in the Big Ten with all the teams that we've got to do that with the parameters of the scheduling. So you're usually going to play somebody once within a week, 7 days, and then I think there's somebody else will play like within 2 weeks. So it's just part of it. It beats having to play like what the Big 12 is doing right now. They play 2 teams back to back. I just think that's, I don't know. I'd rather do it this way than that way.
And that was Husker volleyball coach John Cook. So the Huskers with a matchup on Friday night at home against Michigan State, a team they just beat, and then they turn around with a big matchup on Saturday night as they host Penn State. And that will do it for Comments with Coach Cook. We're here every week along the Rural Radio Network. I'm Jason Jorgensen.